People have asked me why Mischief? Why call this album Mischief? I have a history of one-word album titles. Hi. Little bit of local mischief right there. Hello, dear. Thematically, Mischief is a very broad concept. Once you decide to call your album Mischief, you're in for a little bit of trouble. And maybe one of the reasons that it took me so long to complete this album. It took me upwards of 2 years, where normally it takes me just a few weeks, just a matter of months to get something completely recorded and mastered and printed and out the door. But once I decided that Mischief was going to be what we were going to call this thing, it was very easy to come up with which songs would fall under the heading of Mischief. There are songs which contain riddles and animal wisdom on this album. There are songs which speak to the trickster and the shapeshifter. There are songs that talk about what happens when you're brave enough to give your heart to someone else, whether that's good or bad. And fairy tales are very important to me. Storytelling is very important to me, especially when paired with music. That's sort of where I live and where I come from. There are 12 songs total on Mischief. Some of them speak to love as a force of mayhem. Some of them talk about fairy tales retold in a creative way, and there are some new fairy tales represented as well. There are some songs that speak to the just wacky side of things that would fall under mischief and mischievous behavior. There are ninjas and dangerous salads that are going to come and find you when you decide that it's their turn to be eaten. They have other ideas. Doom, 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 doom. Mischief contains songs that I've been performing for quite a while, as well as some that not so many people have actually heard yet. And that's very exciting for me, to have new material for people to fall in love with. I've been blogging about each of the songs as we count down to the week of the release. And I've presented already my take and where I come from as the songwriter, and I'm looking forward to finding out what happens and getting feedback from people as these songs go out into the world and get interpreted by the folks that make them their own and claim them for their own as they hear them and fall in love with them. Mischief was a labor of love between myself and just a few other very special people. My 3 recording engineers, Ginger Doss, Tony Fabry, and Christoph Glover, amazing people that I adore working with. I'm very lucky to have had a chance to work with them on these songs. Also, my cellist, Betsy Tinney, who is my partner in crime as often as she can be, and there's at least one song that she and I actually wrote together on this album, and many that she contributed just gorgeous cello work to. What I love to do, instead of giving her a list of what I want most of the time, is just to turn her loose and let her write her own cello part. I believe very strongly in when you invite people to collaborate with you, letting them shine in their own ways and not necessarily giving them a list or giving them a set of sheet music or anything that's going to confine their own creativity. I gave Kevin longer this time to work on the graphic design for the album than I've ever given him before. Normally I tell him, okay, I need an album cover tomorrow. And he comes out with something amazing. This time he had 2 or 3 weeks, so just imagine the depth that you're going to see when you hold this disc in your hands. It's really quite beautiful. I've had gorgeous contributions from more than one artist. Our friend Sarah Smith in Louisville, Kentucky, our friend Anna Blake in Seattle, Washington, both contributed art, and Jeff Navarro, wonderful photographer from Denver, and the amazing Kyle Cassidy, photographer from Philadelphia, who's worked with many a rock star before. Have all contributed work to this album. So on Mischief we have songs of animal wisdom and the trickster and shape-shifting. We have songs that are just plain wacky and out of left field, and we have songs of love as a force of mayhem. And all of those 3 categories together make something that I have come to believe is truly wonderful. I'm so happy to have this album ready to share with you. I cannot wait. I hope you love it as much as I do. If you want further details, just go to skinnywhitechick.com. Thank you all very much for watching.